Hello friends, this is Raj Sastry from Raj Option Trading. Today is September 1, 2021. I want to talk about one of my favorite stocks. It's the AbbVie, ticker symbol ABBV. It's a great company with a lot of multi-billion dollar drugs in the market and also great pipeline. And they are not afraid of innovation, and they also acquire companies as and when needed. So with that, the CEO here, Dr. Richard Gonzalez, gets the top rating here. 85% approve the CEO with 818 ratings. A lot of people have rated, and CEO gets a very good rating here. And the savvy management team here and the leadership team, companies headed in the right direction. And from a pipeline and from a candidates perspective, they got a lot of great candidates in the market, a lot of great drugs in the market, various indications, immunology, oncology, neuroscience, and allergen. As you can see here, companies got a lot of drugs. It's not a one-trick pony, and very good leadership position in the market. And from a pipeline perspective, they got very good pipeline candidates here. As you look through here, even though Humira is going to drop off slowly, but they got various other drugs in the market, they can do very well. As you look through here, they got a strong pipeline through 2025 and very good leadership and the candidates. And this is just an eye chart here. Don't expect you to go through this. This indicates in the phase 1, phase 2, and the registration phase, which is phase 3, and also submission phase, tells you number of pipeline candidates or the catalysts. So we got various indications here: immunology, oncology, and whatnot. So as you look through here, looks like they have a lot of drugs in the oncology area, which is a cancer area, and pretty sizable candidates in the other area also, including immunology. There are a lot of drugs in the immunology. That's why I'm not, I think it's a great company. They got solid pipeline and solid drugs in the market right now. So we don't need to worry about this company and its innovation for foreseeable future. And with that, here we got some anticipated pipeline events, and they got pipeline events coming up in 2021, as you can see here, and they got some pipeline events in 2022. So companies really pushing very hard with innovation and a lot of catalysts as we go through. And from a background perspective, AbbVie, ticker symbol ABBV, stock price is $112 and market cap is 198. And this is a leading pharmaceutical company, and they got Humira, which is well known, and they also have various candidates here. As you can see here, great leadership in the market and great pipeline from a future growth perspective. And if you look through the stock chart here, this is the one for your retirement portfolio and also your growth portfolio. As you see here, this is a 3-year chart of AbbVie. Company sometimes it drops, as you can see here, but promptly picks up again. All the drops here are great buying opportunities. Now we got one more drop here. I think this is also a great buying opportunity. And if you look through the CEO here, Richard Gonzalez, he's the CEO. And as you scan through, he was he was in Abbott before. Abbott got spin off from Abbott. So looks like a savvy leader. He had various leadership positions in Abbott also. So overall, the CEO checks out. He's got what it takes to run a great corporation like AbbVie. As you look through here, you might wonder why the stock dropped. So it looks like they got some FDA order here to put a label on their drug here, saying it might cause heart conditions and heart blood clot. I think with that news here, AbbVie stock tumbled pretty hard. I think that's why it's a good opportunity to look at this AbbVie stock to see if it's a good buying opportunity. So with that, let's look at the industry peers and major companies along with the AbbVie here. As you look through here, we got here a chart where we got stock and their insider sales, institution buys and sells. Then you got the sales and sales growth. I pay very close attention to insider buying and selling. Anytime insider buys, that's a great sign. As you see here, we got institutions buying Moderna, BNTX, and BHC, and MRVI. That's a great sign here. And as you scan through here, we've got Elanco, where insiders are buying Elanco. That's also a good sign. And as you look through here, many stocks have got, many companies have got great sales growth here. I love this sales growth, as you can see through here. And then you got gross margin, net margin, tells you if the company is really making good from a margin perspective. And debt to equity tells you if the company is over levered a little bit. As you can see here, our stock that we are talking about has got a little bit big leverage on the balance sheet, and they have actions to really reduce the leverage. And then you got your RSI. RSI is Relative Strength Index, tells you that a good time to buy stock at this time. A high RSI tells you, hey, wait, don't buy right now. But if the RSI is below 55 or even 50, it's a great time to buy slowly. And then got IV percentile. If you're an options buyer or options seller, look at IV percentile. A high IV percentile tells you not a good time to buy options, but a lower IV percentile tells you it's okay to buy options. Looking through these candidates here, we got highest RSI is probably here 37 with the PPD here. As you can see, IV percentile is 37 for PPD, but generally IV percentile is low here. You're okay to buy options for these stocks. And then you got a institution ownership, tells you if the institutions are backing this company and supporting. And then you got short float here. A higher short float is a good candidate for a short squeeze, with here Novavax, $252 stock here with a high short ratio of 10%. Then you got price to sales here, tells you from a valuation perspective if the company is expensive. Here we got NTLA, a little expensive from a valuation perspective. Next we got performance, 1 day all the way to 5 year, tells you how the company is doing. I specifically look at long-term performance like 6 months, 1 year, and 5 year. That tells you if the company is doing right in the long term. And last but not least, we got here how much stock is off from 52-week high. That tells you it's a good time to buy. Typically, I don't like to buy when at the top. For example, PPD here, it's at 52-week high. Probably it's a good time to wait a little bit before you jump in. But stocks like NTLA, MRNA, it's okay to buy because they are a little bit off from 52-week high, as you can see here. And same story with the stock we're talking about today. AbbVie stock is down 8% from 52-week high. It's okay to scoop up and buy slowly. So with that, what I've done is I've highlighted few stocks for you. For example, mRNA, BNTX, nice sales growth as you can see here, nice gross margin, also nice net margin. Right now RSI is pretty low. It's good to buy at these levels. And then you got Eli Lilly, one of my favorites here, $257 stock. Nice sales growth here and good gross margin and also good net margin. Then you got a couple more here, AbbVie, Biogen, Johnson Johnson. As you can see here, most of them have got good sales growth and gross margin, with the exception of BIIB. BIIB Biogen is a great company. I think they are really experimenting on their Alzheimer's drug. That's why it's a little bit not so predictable, but it's good to buy BIIB when they're down. It always shoots up big time when there is a good FDA indication. So that's why it's a good one to buy on the down days and take it from there. Then as you scan through here, pay attention to where institutions are buying. For example, BNTX, mRNA, even Bosch for that example. It's good to buy along with the institutions and slowly accumulate. So with that, we got one more chart here. I've highlighted a few companies for you. Bristol Myers, great company. not getting enough love from market. As you can see here, I would accumulate Bristol Myers at this point and take it from there. And then you got your Merck, Royalty Pharma, Amgen, Incyte, and Vertex, all great stocks with a little bit lower RSI. And right now, stocks are a little bit down. I would accumulate those stocks also. Now let's look through, a little more fundamental perspective. We got all these great stocks here. What I've done is really I've looked at the volume itself, the daily volume as of yesterday, and what's the average volume in 3 months. By looking at these stocks here, many of them got solid volume here, liquid stocks, maybe with the exception of stocks like Biogen here, a little bit lower, but otherwise they got solid performance. And as you look through here, the stock we're talking about today, AbbVie, they got a lot of cash, but a lot of debt in the balance sheet. The company is trying to delever and reduce the debt. They got very good plans to reduce the debt. And from a margin perspective, it's got a great margin and a nice performance. Typically look for quarter over quarter growth plus gross margin greater than 40 or so, rule of 40. Many of these companies satisfy that criteria here. And look for next year growth. Many of these companies have gotten good next year growth estimate. For example, AbbVie has got 11% next year growth estimate. That's good. And they got very good free cash flow here and nice R&D spend. I love companies spend a lot of money on R&D. As you look through here, clearly Johnson and Johnson is spending a lot of money on R&D, and so is Pfizer with their COVID drugs. And as you scan through here, we got even Novartis spending good amount of money here. Then you got dividend. One thing to watch out here with the AbbVie, looks like they're paying out a lot of dividend here, 133%. This is not sustainable. I'm sure they got some plans to really bring it down. So they're paying good dividend here, 4.6% here. If you're a retiree looking for a dividend income, this is a great stock to buy with the great dividend yield here. So with that, let's jump in, look at a few more here. We got few more stocks here and look through the gross margin and quarter over quarter sales. Most of these, are good companies. Royalty Pharma, I like it, but right now, as you can see here, it's not satisfying the rule of 40. Gross margin is 0 right now, and quarter over quarter sales is 9%. But most other companies make the cut, and some companies have got high debt, as you can see here. With that, you got to be careful when the debt is high, and if you're a income buyer then you could look at the dividend yield here. Some companies have got great dividend yield, like GSK as an example, but performance is a little bit low. It's a balance between the yield and performance. That's why I like stocks like AbbVie, which gives you both. So with that, let's jump in here, look at the stock chart and take it from there. So as you scan through here, we got Moderna. Moderna is a great stock. It's right now it's pulled back a little bit, trying to bounce off of its 25-day moving average here, and on the balance volume is pretty steady. I would buy Moderna on weakness or pullbacks and take it from there. And it's got various good candidates in the pipeline for oncology. And then you got your BNTX, again a COVID play here. Stock is pulling back. I would be buying slowly. I think probably it will bounce off of its 50-day moving average here, the blue line here. Strong on the balance volume, tells you smart money is buying this stock. And then we got your Eli Lilly, one of my favorites here. It's a great stock for your retirement portfolio. Stock is trying to come down a little bit. It might break down below 25-day moving average. I think it's a good one to buy on this pullback here. Nice on the balance volume, tells you a lot of these big companies are buying the stock here. Smart money is buying the stock. And then you got AbbVie, the stock we are talking about. Ouch, look at this big drop here. Stock dropped below their 200-day moving average here. I would be a buyer of AbbVie at these levels and go from there. I think this FDA warning that AbbVie need to put a label on their one of their drug, arthritis drug, showing it might cause some heart conditions and blood clot. That's why stock dropped here. I would buy AbbVie. Right now, chart looks ugly. This is the best time to buy AbbVie stock and accumulate slowly. Then we got a couple more here. We got Biogen IDEC. As you know, Biogen stock has dropped. It makes big bounce, as you can see here. Some news about Alzheimer drug, big bounce. One more news, big bounce. Now it's kind of giving it back. I would be a buyer of Biogen at these levels. As you can see here, smart money is pretty steady here. I would buy Biogen. It's a great stock. They're working on this novel Alzheimer's drug, which is a great, difficult to crack indication. And then we got JNJ here. Anytime JNJ drops like this, it's always a good time to buy. I would be a buyer of JNJ at these levels. It's trying to bounce off of its 50-day moving average, which is this blue line here. And on the balance volume is pretty steady, as you can see here. Then we got Bristol Myers, great stock here, goes up and down nicely. Right now it's trying to break down below its 100-day moving average, which is the orange line here. I would be a buyer of Bristol Myers. It might crack and drop into 200-day moving average around $64, but I would buy slowly and accumulate. And then you got Merck. Merck is a great stock. It's, I would say, off late it's become a trading stock, goes up and down nicely. I would buy some Merck at these levels. Right now it's negative or a bearish territory below most of its moving average. It's a good one to buy slowly. Next, we look at a couple more here. We got Royalty Pharma. It's a great pharma company. Off late stock is not getting enough love from the market. I would probably slowly buy and accumulate on down days. Then we got Amgen. Amgen used to be a Wall Street darling a couple of years ago, but right now company is really struggling a little bit. I would slowly accumulate Amgen on the down days and take it from there. And we got INCY here, Incyte. It's again a great stock, up and down. Right now stock is down a little bit. RSI is 54. I would slowly buy Incyte on down days and accumulate. As you can see here on the balance volume is trying to go up. And then you got Vertex Pharma, great stock. Off late stock is not doing great. Stock is down. I would take advantage of the downturn and buy some Vertex slowly here. So with that, let's look at AbbVie into a little more detail and see what we can make out. From an analyst perspective, looks like they got a buy rating here with their target of 118. I think that's good. At least there's a buy rating here. And overall, as you look through here, earnings per share perspective, they've done pretty good, but there is a little bit drop in 2020. Sales is accelerating. I love this sales acceleration. Nice clip here. Year over year, they're doing very nicely. Shares outstanding is pretty steady, Eddie. No need to worry. They're not putting out too much stocks in the market. That's a good sign. And from a performance perspective, looks like insiders are selling a little bit. There could be various reasons. Not a huge number, but something to take notice. And they've done nicely from a performance perspective. In 1 year, they've done about 23%, which is okay. From a sales growth, it's doing great. 48% in 1 year, 34% in quarter over quarter. Nice gross margin, nice net margin. Only negative here is a high debt to equity ratio. They got a lot of debt on their balance sheet. They have a plan to really mitigate and bring it down. And look at the fundamentals here. Nice trading volume, a very liquid stock. They got a lot of debt. That's one red flag here for me. And they got nice sales growth next year. Nice free cash. They're spending a lot of money on R&D, which is very much required. They're below their 20 and 50-day moving average with this big drop yesterday. Overall, it's a great company. I would be a buyer at these levels. Next, let's look through fundamentals here. Stock price is about $112. Market cap is $198 billion. The way to read this chart is I got here various, criteria here. And then we got various quarters. We got 630 with the June quarter all the way to March 2019. As you look through here from a market cap perspective, steady eddy, slowly but surely market cap is going up. There are some bumps along the road, as you can see here, between 2019 March and 2019 June. But look at the trend here, doing nicely from a market cap perspective. Very steady eddy, predictable company. And we got the price here. Price is going up nicely. Back in 2019, $80, and now it's 112, and with this drop it is still 112. So it's a great stock to buy and hold. You got capital appreciation as well as nice dividend income. From a sales perspective, same story, pretty steady as you can see here. And there's a nice quarter over quarter sales growth. I think Wall Street loves the sales growth and the predictability. And they've been surprising Wall Street on the positive earnings per share perspective, as you can see here. That's a good sign. They got good amount of cash. Only red flag is they got a lot of debt on the balance sheet. They are trying to mitigate this and bring that down. And they got positive free cash flow and positive operating cash flow, nice gross margin, and a good net margin. As you scan through here, they pay a nice dividend. As you look through here, 4.6% dividend. That's a great dividend income. And stock is not expensive from a price to sales perspective as well as price to earnings perspective. Payout ratio is a little bit red flag for me for the latest quarter, but I'm sure they can bring that down. So overall, by looking through this, AbbVie is a fundamentally strong stock and a company, and company is growing nicely. There is a good capital appreciation as well as dividend income. So with that is an overall stock to buy and take advantage of this drop here. So now let's look through the performance to see how the company has been performing of late. So look through the yearly performance here. Back in 2013, 54%, did nicely in 2014, a little bit drop here 2015, did nicely again. 2 years of consecutive drop in 2019, 2018, but now it picked up again. So overall, it's not one of those rocket ship stocks like MRNA or BNTX, but it's a very steady eddy type stock, a good one for your retirement portfolio, and also you can trade and take advantage of this downturn here. And if you look through the monthly performance here, more green than red. All the red here is a good buying opportunity. The big drop here, nice pop. Big drop, nice pop. That's why every time AbbVie stock drops like this, it's always a nice buying opportunity. And if you look through the weekly performance here, more greens than reds. All these reds are good buying opportunity. As you can look through here, two red, nice green bounce back here. And if you look through the daily performance here, more greens than red. The red here, all of them are buying opportunities, including the one here. I'm sure it's a buying opportunity here. So with that, if you're an investor, if you want a solid income play and the capital appreciation play, AbbVie is your stock. Take advantage of this pullback here and buy some AbbVie. And if you look through a monthly performance pattern here, the way to read this chart is I got here the years all the way from 2021 to 2013, and I got here months here all the way from December to January. This chart typically helps you to understand the pattern here. It may not match perfectly going forward, but at least gives you a good indication what to expect. As an example, right now we're in September. Typically by looking through this here, September you can expect a drop, 8% drop in 2020, and 12% drop in 2015, and few drops as you can see here 2016 and 2018. That's why if you're a savvy investor and trader, you can look for some drop in September. Reasons could be several, but there is a chance it might drop in September time frame. And if not September, it might drop in October, as you can see here. And then there are some drops in July time frame, June, July time frame, and also January time frame. That's why these are good opportunities. Every time stock drops, around say 5 to 10%, it's always a good buying opportunity. See here, September, October drop, nice bounce back in November, December, and drop, couple drops here, nice bounce back. That's why these drops are good buying opportunities. Out buy slowly and accumulate. So this chart here will tell you or help you identify the seasonal patterns of the stock and helps you to spot if it is a good time to buy at these levels. Next, we got here a technical chart here. This is a 5-year weekly chart. As you can see here, stock went up all the way here, $125 back in 2018, dropped promptly. It was a little bit down turn for the stock, huge big downturn, but picked up again, went up, down. And now the stock, this company AbbVie has got a very strong pipeline and lot of multi-billion-dollar drugs. So with that, with this slap from FDA that they were to put a label, warning label, indicating heart condition and blood clot issues for their arthritis drug, stock dropped big time. Now they are going below their 50-day moving average, as you can see here. I think this could be a good buying opportunity. I'll be a buyer into this downturn or a pullback and accumulate slowly. And if you look through the 1-year chart here, stock has been doing nicely. As you can see, a nice bullish trend, but wham, a big downturn here. So that's why whenever stock does like this, especially great companies like AbbVie, I think it's good to buy some. From a chart perspective, right now it's all negative or a bearish chart here. That's why when you want to buy a stock on the big downturn or a big pullback, don't look too much into the current chart conditions here. Instead, look through the historic and what they've done. For example, drop up, came down, went up. So this stock shows you it can bounce back from its from its pullbacks. That's why I would ignore the current chart settings here, which tells you a little bit bearish here. Instead, focus on what's done in the past. Look at its pipeline and it's the prospectus for the future. That's why out by AbbVie here, I take advantage of this huge big pullback. Now we got options chain here. Tells you what options market is thinking. Even though you're not an options buyer, it's good to look at what option market is telling us. As you look through here, we got AbbVie $112 stock. It went as high as 121 in 1-year time frame, and right now we're sitting around $112, around in 110 strike price range here. As you look through here, a lot of folks are betting the stock will go up to 120, 125, 130, and so on and so forth. There is a great open interest at these levels. And if you look to the put option level, people are also hedging, on the put side, but the volume of put is not much compared to volume of call options. So that's clearly a bullish sentiment in the options market. People are betting the stock will go higher. As you look through here, this tells you that today's option statistics, total call volume or a call contracts 172 million, put contract is 113. That makes a put call ratio 0.6. That means a lot of folks who are betting the stock will go up. I think with yesterday's drop, put call ratio might have increased a little bit, but still there are a lot more calls being transacted than puts, which is a good indication. And as you scan through here, you can also look at things like VWAP. Right now stock is 112. As of yesterday, VWAP is 111. That tells you stock may pull back a little bit from these levels. There's a good support around 111 on a daily basis. So that's why there may be a little pullback, but it's good to start buying at these levels. And current IV percentile is 52% right now. So if you are a premium seller, you can take advantage of this big drop and sell some premium at a lower level. Maybe if you're a put option seller, you could sell some put option at a lower price. Or if you're a strangle seller, you could sell some strangle or even iron condor or butterfly and make some money that way. So as you look through here, company's earnings transcript, this is back in July 30th or so. As you see here, company did nicely. They beat on the earnings per share side, and they also did well and beat on the revenue side. So that's a great story. Company is really predictable and doing nicely by quarterly earnings. Looks like they got a solid quarter here, and revenue was up 19.3%. That's very good. And their drugs here are ramping up nicely and doing great. I think these drugs got a little bit issue that they have to slap some, FDA has to slap some indications, but otherwise drugs are doing nicely, as you can see here. And they also integrated their Botox acquisition, or Allergan acquisition. So it looks like the company doing nicely, and they want to grow the sales of these Allergan drugs, or they are growing significantly faster than the historic performance. That's a great sign. This company knows how to integrate the acquisitions like Allergan and grow even faster. And they're doing very good on the immunology side. Looks like they got 13% growth here, and they're also doing great when it comes to adjusted earnings, up 32%. And they're also paying down their debt. As you can see here, they have a high debt, but they're paying down. They already paid down $12 billion debt here, and they expect to pay $17 billion cumulative debt by end of this year. So it's a great story. They're delevering slowly. It's good to see the company is taking good action to deleverage from a financial perspective. And they also guide ahead for a little bit higher growth here, $14.3 billion in third quarter revenue. I think that's a good story here. Overall, they beat from a earnings per share perspective. They also beat from a revenue perspective. They're also guiding a little bit higher, and a lot of great indications, a lot of great drugs and pipeline. So with that, clearly this company is doing things right and a great growth going forward. Now let's look at insider trading here. Insider trading is a little high, 15%, but not too high. As we look through here, we got some folks here. We got here EVP of operations. He's exercising some of his shares here, and we got, I think, the same EVP here. He's exercising some of his shares here, and also CEO exercised some share all the way back in November. So nothing, no red flag here. I've seen much higher insider transactions. This is not a red flag. This could be some of these insider wanting some money for their own purposes, which is okay. No red flag here. Now let's see, what should we do now? AbbVie stock dropped big time. What should we do? As you look through the fundamentals, the technicals, and what's going on with the company itself, looks like their revenues increasing 19%. They got multiple indications here in the immunology area. They're growing here nicely, 13.8% growth here, and they got significant progress with their Botox and Allergan acquisition. So I think they are looking for a higher growth in the Allergan business here. Humira, it's ramping down a little bit, which is okay. I think the company is coming out of the patent probably, and there are some biosimilars here. But even though Humira is slowing down, they got other indications in oncology, neuroscience, migraine, which are picking up the slack here and going nicely. And they got one of the best pipeline in the market here. They got a lot of drugs in the pipeline and working on regulatory submissions. And the big news here, FDA requires updated warnings on JAK inhibitors, citing increased risk of heart events. That's why the company stock came down here. They have to basically have this label around serious heart related conditions such as heart attack and blood clots. I'm sure company will do some more innovation in this area, and temporarily there'll be a pullback here. That's a great buying opportunity. I would take advantage of this pullback here and buy some AbbVie stock and go from there. With that, thank you very much. Happy investing and trading. Please subscribe.